soon as it comes on, I'll just mute it on the YouTube thing.
Yep. Yeah, sounds good. I think we're live. Yep, we're live. It's delayed on YouTube, so they won't see it for a second. But hello, 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 world. Hope everybody is doing well. Live stream 2 days in a row, which is exciting. Yeah, live stream is now 2 days in a row of live streams, which is exciting. And today is a good one. So I've got Richard here from ILE Love English. 3 watching. Hello, 3 live viewers. Emil again. 2 days in a row, Emil. Hello. 4 watching. Hello, 4 live viewers. Come say hello. Say hello. Who is here? Who is here? 5 people. Come say hello. 5 people. So far, Emil's the only one saying hi. I want to see more hellos. More hellos. More hellos. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Don't be shy. I do bite, but I can't bite you through a computer screen, so don't worry. I want to see more hellos. Guys, say hello. Oops, I spelled hello wrong. Hello to us. Hello.
It's a difficult word.
A difficult word. But yes, we're doing a bit of an interesting thing today. We're going to be talking about American versus British versus Canadian English. There's some different differences. Some differences between the 3. Yep, and I think your sound just got muted there, Richard.
Yep. I think you can still hear me.
Oh, yeah, you're back. Okay, good.
Yep, okay, cool. Yes, hello, thank you.
Hello. Go ahead, sorry.
Thank you very much for having me on your program.
Yeah, no problem. So it's going to be fun. So it's interesting because I think between British English and Canadian and American, there's obviously a lot of differences. But when you look at American and Canadian, there are differences, but it's not quite as what's the word I'm looking for? Not quite as noticeable, or not quite as not quite as noticeable, let's say. But they're definitely there, and it's funny. Like Americans, Canadians can definitely notice it when they talk to each other. But I'm actually wondering, like Richard, like when you hear an American talk versus a Canadian, do you hear the accent difference?
That's a very good question. I was actually about to ask you what the difference is, because it depends on the type of the American accent. Obviously, anything from Central America, Boston, New York,
right.
Along the East Coast, or for that matter, California. Yes, I can hear the differences. But there are some American accents, the more, let's say, the softer spoken accents. That's when I find it a little bit harder to distinguish between the 2 accents. So as a Canadian, what can you tell me that is noticeably different between the Canadian accent and some American accents?
Biggest one, this is the most one. So I'm not sure if you've ever seen this on television, on American television or not.
What's happened? I can't see anything. Hello, Azren?
Yep, we're back. We're back.
Oh, gosh.
Yep. Sorry, world. Yeah, sorry, world. So essentially, Google Live streams, it sometimes just cuts out randomly, but it always comes back. So, so essentially, where was I? Yes, Canadian raising. So Canadian raising, basically what it is, anytime you've got the ow or the I sound, so things like, anytime you have an ow or an I sound, if it comes, we're going to jump into a linguistics lesson, I guess. So if it comes before what's called a voiceless consonant. So voiceless consonant, for example, would be like a s. So if you put your hand on your vocal cords and go s, they don't vibrate. That's a voiceless one. But if you go zzz, you'll feel your vocal cords vibrate. So that would be voiced.
Yeah.
So if the ow or the I comes before a voiceless consonant, we're going to say ow and I instead of ow and I. So in words like house, we'll say house, not house. We'll say ice, not ice.
Ah, right. Okay, that's a good one to know.
So that's the most common one. Hello, 7. Well, we only got like, okay, we have 7 live viewers. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3 people comment. This is not acceptable. You know I can't bite you through a computer screen. Everybody, I want to see some hellos in the comments or live chat. Yeah, so that's probably the most noticeable difference. Obviously, there's some vocabulary differences too. So Canadians, for example, will say generally in Canada we'll say washroom, bath, or bathroom. We'll say both. Versus in the States, they tend to use more bathroom. Like washroom is not quite as common.
Well, do you know any British terms for those for the bathroom?
Would you say restroom?
No,
Lavatory?
that's not. Sorry.
Would you say like lavatory?
Yeah, we'd say lavatory, but on an
Facilities?
everyday basis, facilities maybe sometimes. The most common one a lot of people tend to use would be loo.
Ah, yeah, I've heard that for sure.
There's loo. Obviously, there's toilet as well, but some urinal sometimes, or another one, bog.
Sorry, bog.
Bog. B-O-G. I need the bog.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got lots of words for that.
That's funny. So, like when you hear, Americans or Canadians or Americans or Canadians speak, like what are some of the major things you notice?
The stress is noticeably different sometimes, especially with certain words. Like I just noticed now that, for instance, yours when you said lavatory, you emphasized lavatory.
I said lavatory. What did I say? I don't remember what I said. Now that you've said lavatory, I've lost what I said. But yes, you're right, though.
It's a bit like when I know that a lot of Americans say dictionary. So yeah, they stress the last syllable sometimes.
Huh.
I'll never forget it because I remember watching and hearing it in a Black Hawk Down.
Okay. Dictionary. Huh.
I have heard that, and obviously there's actually one where the spelling is different as well, which is aluminium. In UK English, we put 2 I's, so we spell it as ALUMINIUM.
Okay.
And I know that in American English, it's just INUM.
So I'm actually curious. I think I know the answer, but I want to confirm. How do you spell words like color?
We like to add a U in it.
Okay, we do too. Because we do too. We do.
Canadians add Canada. Okay, so Canada have it right. What about, how do you spell grey?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think, oh man, I think we spell it, because I've seen 2 spellings. I actually have always wondered what the correct spelling is, but I've seen it Gray and I've seen it Grey. I think the correct, I don't even know what's correct. Grey feels more correct for me, but I could be wrong.
Because the Grey is British spelling.
Okay.
The American one is with an A. The other, there's actually one spelling and pronunciation that whenever I see it, it always looks very unnatural to me, and that is the spelling, the US spelling of mum being mom, MOM.
Do you spell it MUM?
Yeah, we spell it MUM.
That makes a lot more sense. We spell it MOM. But you know what though? But often we won't say mum. We'll say mom. We will say mom.
You'll go with the mom. You've got the R sound.
Hey mom. Yeah. Some people are like, hey mom. Blah 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 blah. Yep. Some people, not everybody, but.
And another difference is the way. If it's the same with Canada, but I know in US English, Americans say math instead of maths.
Yeah, we do say math and not maths. But it's what's funny though is maths. When I hear that, I think more French, and I think more French because in French it's plural as well, and that's how it is in French. So whenever I hear it, I go, oh, that's like in French. It's always where my brain goes. But
can you tell me? Do you know any? Are there any? For instance, I don't know, because maybe Canada's a bit of a mixture between British English and American English in some with some spellings and pronunciations. For instance, if we take aeroplane,
Okay.
how would you spell aeroplane?
I've seen two. I would spell it AIRPLANE, but I've seen another spelling which would be AE. I think I could be totally wrong on this, but I feel there's like part of me that thinks I've seen the spelling. It's AEROPLANE, but I could be so wrong on that. But
you are very correct. Yes,
okay.
that's the AERO. Then plane is the UK spelling.
Okay. Yep.
We just like to be different. Then there's a few others as well. So, for instance, if we go with big vehicles.
Okay. I think I know where you're going to this, but I'll keep going.
What would you call a big vehicle? Would you use the word truck, or you would use truck or lorry?
We use a truck, but I've definitely heard lorry though.
Yeah, we always use lorry. And then also like the names of like the different parts of the car as well. I know is a bit different.
Yes, you guys say, for example, I'm trying to remember. So what's like the front part of the car that opens for you? What do you call that?
Oh, that would be the bonnet.
Bonnet, yeah, bonnet. So what's interesting? So this is gonna be real. So I actually have a funny theory. I've never read up on it. I have a funny theory that there is that British English shares more similarities to like to French than a Canadian or American English. So because, for example, so we'd say a hood is what we'd say. Now, where it gets interesting is that if you go into French and you translate like a hat, like a hat, or actually here's another word you guys might say differently. What do you call a hat that you wear in the winter, like to cover your ears? What do you call that?
A beanie.
A beanie. Okay, so you guys say beanie. Okay, so for example, we have a very Canadian word for that, which actually comes from, this is gonna be super weird. So we call it a toque, and here's why it's called a toque. We call it a toque because in Quebec French, a toque is like a beanie. Now, what's funny though is that if you go to France and you say toque and use that French word, they'll be like, "What are you talking about?" Because they'll say un bonnet, like a bonnet.
A bonnet.
Yeah. So it's funny that I like a bonnet in French means that. In English, we say.
I think you've cut off again.
For a second.
Yeah.
Oh, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Cool. So what do you call like the back of a car where you put groceries or whatnot?
We would put. We would say boot.
Yeah, because we'll say the trunk.
You would say the trunk, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yes, the trunk. So, what about pronunciation? Are there any noticeable differences, would you say, with pronunciations?
Well, I mean, like, of course, accent obviously plays a big role. Obviously, accent's very different. But like accent aside, like if you look, actually, I'm curious about words like, let me think, what's a good word? How would you pronounce the word Foyer?
Say again, sorry.
Foyer. How would you pronounce that word?
Foyer.
Oh, that's interesting. So you and Americans share that in common, because Americans will say foyer. You guys say foyer. We say foyer.
Foyer.
Which could potentially, I could be wrong, I'm guessing. But
no, you're right. No, I'm pretty sure actually the British pronunciation is probably foyer.
Oh, is it?
Let me just double check. Foyer. Yeah, I think it's It's I was actually wrong. It's foyer.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. I was wrong.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, in the States they will. I'm 80% sure they'll say foyer.
Yeah, they would say foyer.
I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong, but I think so.
Actually, on the subject of pronunciation, do you say herbs or do you say herbs?
Oh, that's a tough one. It depends who you talk to. Some people will say herbs, some will say herbs. It depends on who you talk to.
And so in Canada, it depends.
Yeah. So what's funny about Canada is we're a little bit confusing. So what I mean by that is some things will do like the U.S. Some things will do more like it's like England. Pronunciation is definitely close to the U.S. No question about it. But for example, we use a mixture of the metric system as well as the whatever they use in the States, whatever that system's called. We use a mixture. We actually learn both. So for instance, in the States, when you drive, they use miles. We use kilometers. However, when we talk about height, we use inches and feet, not centimeters and meters.
Oh, right. Okay. So you switch between the two.
Yeah. So we actually learn both in school because our country operates in both, so we learn both in school. But which is interesting. We learn the conversions.
What about when it comes to weighing things? Like you weigh your body weight. Do you do this in, because in the UK we measure our weight in
stones? Yeah. We'll do in pounds. That being said, we will. I don't know if this is the difference in metric or not, but I could be wrong. But we also will use kilos, like kilograms and grams, depending on what it is. But for people, we'll do pounds.
Because for me, because I didn't ever grow up looking at measuring things in pounds.
Yeah.
So when people start saying that they weigh 180 pounds, I have to really think.
What is that? Yeah.
What is that in stone?
Yeah.
And are you able to tell the difference between different types of British accents?
I can hear them, but I don't know where they're. I can often hear them, but I couldn't tell you like. I can hear it be like, oh, it's that kind of accent. I can like feel the difference. Like, oh yeah, I've heard that kind. And we go, oh, I've heard that kind. I've heard that kind. I have no idea where they're from. Like, it's not like I can hear and go, oh, you must be from this part of England or UK. But
what about slightly stronger differences, like Scottish, for example, or Welsh?
Scottish and Welsh, maybe I'd have to hear the two. I'm not as familiar with those two. Maybe I could tell the difference. I have no idea.
Fair enough. Actually, on the subject of accents, in Canada, do the accents vary a lot?
Yes, actually. Interesting you ask, actually. Yes, I was actually just thinking about that as you asked about accents in the UK. So, what's interesting is that in Canada, this is
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear me, Azren, but definitely lost. It's gone off for now. Oh, you're coming back.
Absolute worst. The worst. Okay, I think we should be back.
Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
Ah, so annoying. Anyway, I was just saying Newfoundland and Labrador has a very different accent in Canada. Close to anything, which would be like an Irish accent. And they just have a very, very bizarre, a very different accent that is unique to really anything in the world. But yeah, that's all I'll say. But
what about other accents from the English-speaking world, like Australian, South Africa, New Zealand? Are you quite good at telling, being able to recognize their accents?
Australian for sure. Okay, so give me 2 seconds here. It's going to send a quick message. Que voy a estar un poco tarde. Okay, there we go. Just pushing something back. Anyway, so Australian for sure. I can tell. What was it? What was the other ones you mentioned? You said Australian. You said
South African.
Yep. Now I can't. It's tough for me to tell like a South African between maybe another African. It's sometimes difficult because I just haven't heard many of them. But
what about the Kiwi accent?
What does it sound like? Actually, I'm not sure.
it's very nasally. The difference is like if we go for like let's say a Queensland Australian accent,
Okay.
that'd be pretty hard, and it'd be like, oh yeah, mate, how's it going?
Okay.
So it'd be like that. And the New Zealand one is it's a little bit softer and a little bit more nasally.
Okay.
That's my impression of a New Zealand accent.
Right.
But you can definitely tell the difference slightly. Also some of the like one of the now actually I know you have something else coming up soon. I'll ask you this one. Would you know what both the British and the Aussies would be? What they would mean if they say, I feel like I'm going to chunder.
I don't. I could guess some stuff, but no, I don't.
You can guess. What do you reckon?
That's also very British, by the way. What do you reckon? We would never say that, but anyway.
Oh yes. So what would you say?
We'd probably say like, "Oh, what do you think?"
What do you think? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's something we like. No one's ever gonna be like, "Wait, what do you reckon? What is that?" No one's ever say that. But Luke Stutkin sends a contact request. Oh yeah, he's my friend student. So say the sentence again. Say the full sentence.
I feel like I'm gonna chunder.
Like I feel like it's like you're like maybe super tired or something, or maybe super hungry, one of the two, and like you feel like you're gonna die.
That's okay. The dying bit is you're relatively close.
Okay.
It means that you feel like you're going to be sick.
Okay.
So yes, you're not far off with the death bit.
By the way, last thing before we kind of close this off, I remember I was traveling. Where was I? I was in. Where did I meet those two? I was in Peru. And I met a girl. I joined this random tour. It was like a 1 or 2 day tour. Well, I was living there for a bit, so I joined a 2 day tour. On the tour, I met a girl from Australia and one girl from England. One girl from Australia, one from England. And it's funny because crazy. Actually, we'll leave that story for another day because there's a very long story behind these two, which is actually really crazy. But I do have to go pretty soon, so I'll keep it short. Now, these two people. It was funny. We're having a conversation about just the different Englishes that we speak, and because we always notice little things that are different as we're talking. But what was really interesting is in terms of vocabulary, it often like Australians and Canadians would share more vocabulary similarities than England, Australia, and Canada, which is really
You've gone. It's gone again.
think we lost the stream.
Yep, and it's back.
Hate it when I lose it. Anyway, essentially, I was just saying that there's the differences between there's more similarities in Australian and Canadian English in terms of vocabularies, and than there were between British, Australian, and Canadian. And I asked you a question, which was, oh yeah, so for example, what do you say like the sandals you wear at a beach? Like, what do you call those?
Flip-flops. I know what's coming here. Flip-flops. Yeah, we call flip-flops. I guess you know what the Aussies call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Maybe that, I can't remember, but there seemed to have been, I can't remember, I wish I remembered specific examples, but there are more similarities between Canada, Australia than there were between England, Canada.
Actually, I forgot to ask you.
But yes.
What do you call flip-flops?
Flip-flops.
You call them flip-flops?
Yeah.
All right. So it's just the Aussies that call them thongs.
Apparently, yeah.
I know you need to. I
gotta head out here. I'm late for my next thing here, which no big deal. But thanks for being on. Thanks for people who are watching, and yeah, chat with everyone later.
Thank you very much, Azren. Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I put I've put Richard's channel link in the description if you guys want to check it out. So check description below. Bye.